Okay, let's dive into this explainer, because today we're tackling one of the wildest paradoxes of our time. I mean, think about it. We are living in literally the most technologically interconnected era in all of human history. You can instantly message somebody across the globe, share your life with thousands of followers, and carry the entire sum of human knowledge right in your pocket. And yet, beneath the surface of all these glowing screens and digital networks, our actual social fabric is quietly fraying. Emotional connection, which is just a fundamental, basic human need, is becoming so incredibly scarce that it's actually transformed into a commodified resource. It's wild. Let's unpack this. According to some pretty staggering global data reported by France 24 and the World Health Organization, 1 in 6 people worldwide now experiences chronic isolation. 1 in 6. That's roughly 16% of the entire global population just sitting at home, totally surrounded by digital connections, but feeling entirely alone. And this isn't just that fleeting feeling of sadness you might get on a rainy Sunday. No, we're talking about an epidemic of enduring, persistent isolation that is fundamentally altering how we live and interact with each other. And we really need to understand that this is not simply an emotional burden. It's a severe physical threat. The U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, actually issued a really stark public advisory about this. The data shows that the mortality impact of chronic loneliness is physically equivalent to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. Up to 15 cigarettes a day. That is just an incredible comparison to put things into perspective. It significantly increases your risks for severe health crises. We're talking cardiovascular disease, dementia, the whole shebang. So we're facing this massive, life-threatening, completely unaddressed human need. And well, in our modern world, whenever there is a massive unaddressed need, a market is inevitably going to emerge to fill that void. Now, what's truly fascinating here is Japan's role as kind of a real-time laboratory for modern social trends. If you want to see exactly where this loneliness economy is heading, Japan is absolutely the place to look. Right now, they're battling some severe demographic shifts and this huge rising tide of hyper-individualism. And the market response there? It's been nothing short of fascinating. It really reveals exactly how desperate people are for just that basic feeling of being seen and acknowledged. To really grasp the scale of the demand here, we have to look at the numbers. A comprehensive national survey published by the Japan Times revealed this absolutely staggering statistic. Nearly half, 48.4% to be exact, of the population explicitly experiences ongoing feelings of isolation. Nearly half. This massive deficit in personal connection is driving some intense social crises over there. That include the phenomenon known as hikikomori, which is where individuals experience extreme social withdrawal, literally isolating themselves from society for months or, in some cases, even years. So how exactly does a market respond when nearly half of its population is feeling isolated? Well, it gets highly creative and highly transactional. In Japan, you can now literally rent a friend to attend a concert with you. Need to ease your parents' worries? No problem. You can hire a temporary partner to bring home for the holidays. You can even, and this blew my mind, lease an actor to play your father and walk you down the aisle at your wedding. I know it sounds like the plot of a comedy movie, but our sources highlight that these are actually vital commercial lifelines for people. They're transactional services providing this necessary validation to fill a profound deficit in genuine personal connection. But hold on, before we think of this as just something isolated to the East, let's look at the Western shift. Because while Japan has found a way to sort of commercialize human interaction, the West is taking a very different approach. We are rapidly replacing humans altogether. We're seeing this absolutely exploding market for artificial romantic partners. Apps like Replica are really leading the charge here. They allow users to build and interact with highly customized artificial companions that offer 24/7 intimacy. And the kicker? There's not another human being involved at all. And if you're thinking, oh, this is probably just a niche subculture for super tech-savvy people, the data totally proves otherwise. A report from BBC News just revealed this massive, profound generational shift. Are you ready for this? Roughly 1/3 of American teenagers are now actively using AI companions for social interaction, daily satisfaction, and emotional advice. 1/3 of teens. They're turning to algorithms instead of their peers or parents or teachers to actually navigate their emotional lives. And this really brilliantly illustrates the core difference between these synthetic relationships and real human ones. Experts are calling the allure of AI frictionless intimacy. Because, let's be honest, human reality is messy, right? Real relationships require negotiation. They require vulnerability. You have to navigate boundaries, work through awkwardness and conflict. It's work. But an AI companion, it completely strips all that friction away. It never judges you, it's literally always available at 3 a.m., and it'll alter its entire personality to fit your exact desires. It is perfect, non-judgmental validation on demand. But here's the catch. By avoiding the necessary friction of human connection, we're completely avoiding the very things that make a relationship genuine in the first place. Of course, all this frictionless comfort comes at a literal price. Tech platforms have engineered this brilliant but kind of dark system we call the freemium loop to basically monetize human vulnerability. So the basic chat features might be free, right? That pulls the users in. But if you want deeper emotional depth, voice messaging, or romantic modes, boom, that's locked securely behind subscription paywalls. This entire system turns emotional availability into a metered corporate utility. And what it does is create this really dangerous feedback loop. Users become deeply dependent on the software, which then slowly decreases their capacity and, frankly, their tolerance for those messy, real-world relationships we just talked about. So the crucial point here is that this isn't just an individual problem. There are massive macro-level consequences. When an entire population becomes increasingly isolated and starts turning to these synthetic substitutes, guess who ultimately picks up the check? The state. Loneliness is not just sad, it's incredibly expensive. As we mentioned earlier with the Surgeon General's data, isolation skyrockets the rates of depression, anxiety, and severe cardiovascular issues. And treating those conditions, that requires massive, massive public resources. To put some hard numbers to this, let's look at a peer-reviewed study in the journal Pharmacoeconomics. They found that the public health and economic costs associated with loneliness range between $2 billion and $25 billion annually across various nations. $25 billion. And on top of that direct healthcare strain, workplace productivity takes an absolute beating. Isolation-induced fatigue and absenteeism are seriously draining the economy. We are paying billions of dollars simply because we've forgotten how to connect with one another. Which brings us to the ultimate question. How do we push back against a multi-billion-dollar industry that is quite literally designed to profit from our solitude? I know, the market reality sounds pretty bleak right now. But the good news? The good news is that we are absolutely not helpless. Governments and communities worldwide are actually waking up to this crisis, and they're deploying some really optimistic, human-led solutions to rebuild our ties. Now, addressing an architectural problem of this massive scale requires top-down structural reform. What I mean is, governments have to step up and start treating isolation as a matter of state. A really great example of this structural reform comes from the United Kingdom. Back in 2018, they became a global pioneer by establishing the world's first Ministry of Loneliness. I mean, how incredible is that? Their national strategy focuses heavily on investing in civic infrastructure, what sociologists call third places. Basically, these are spaces outside of your home and your work where you don't actually have to spend money just to exist. We're talking about expanding public libraries, parks, intergenerational community hubs, and on top of that, governments are finally starting to explore digital environment reforms too. They're proposing stricter age gates and algorithmic transparency to protect kids from having their intimate behavioral data harvested. Also within that UK framework, there is one specific, highly successful intervention that I find just fascinating. It's called social prescribing. Under this model, when a patient comes in with mild anxiety, depression, or severe isolation, doctors don't immediately default to writing a prescription for medication. Instead, they formally prescribe community activities. They connect these patients with funded link workers who then guide them into local walking clubs or community gardening or art collectives. It's brilliant because it treats the actual root cause, which is disconnection, rather than just throwing a Band-Aid on the symptom. But look, we definitely don't have to wait around for top-down government policies to save us. There are grassroots actions that every single one of us can take right now. Step 1 is strengthening your local neighborhood networks. This kind of mirrors municipal strategies we're seeing in Spain, where they actually organize block watches just to check in on elderly neighbors or single parents. Step 2 is cultivating intentional digital boundaries. Enforcing phone-free dinners, or actually opting for a physical meetup instead of a 20-message text string. And step 3, just lower the barrier to entry. Join shared interest micro-communities. It could be something as simple as a local soup and chat lunch that just gets you out of the house and back into the real world. So, to wrap up everything we've looked at in this explainer today, here is the core takeaway. Technology is incredible, for sure, and yes, corporations can absolutely simulate companionship and they can sell us validation. But a subscription model, an AI algorithm, or a rented friend is never, ever going to truly replace the beauty and the absolute necessary friction of real human connection. Real relationships take work, but that work is exactly what keeps us healthy, sane, and fundamentally human. The solution to this epidemic isn't hidden somewhere inside our screens, it's waiting right outside our front doors. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to really carry with you today. Knowing the actual physical and societal cost of all this isolation, what steps are you going to take today to reconnect? Are you going to text a friend you haven't spoken to in months? Maybe chat with a neighbor, or just leave the phone at home while you take a walk? The power to completely dismantle the loneliness economy starts with our own daily choices. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there and start a conversation in your own community.
Getting to the heart of the matter isn't always easy, but here we always look for the essence. Thank you for your time and your curiosity. Subscribe for more answers, and as always, thanks for watching.